It is, well, it was July 15th, 2025. It is now July 20th. I'm going to get these earlier. My wife and I were talking. Like, we're going way to bed. Everything's too late. We've gotten into a mode that's just like everything is too late. Now, part of it is because we get home late and we don't get to hang out. My wife and I actually value each other's time. So, yeah. So, I'm going to try to make these earlier. We have to. We're going to bed too late. She's going to bed too late. I'm going to bed too late. So, we're going to figure it all out. But I appreciate you being here, friends. Hold on. I got to do something real quick. There we go. All right. Mark your blue, bud. Who else we got? I have new mods. We're unveiling the West Coast mods. Thank you, Mark. Ohio. Here you are, bud. Ohio is now a mod. Thank you very much. And where was the other one? Yeah, it took me a while. Sorry, I had to wait for the thing to allow that. They had to go through and read all your messages in the chat and make sure that you guys weren't plotting or questioning, I guess is the better word. So, but yeah, putting some new mods in. These things have gotten so late. Other mods, things happen. Life happens. As I expressed over on PrepperNow, I think Nose Pickin' is no longer with us. I think he's gone. I think he is. I don't mean to laugh. It's just like it's been 8 months, and his channel is just like he used to post vids, and he had nothing. He just disappeared. So I hope he's in a better place. I hope he's okay. If he is, he can come. If he's still here, come on and cuss me out or something. But show that you're alive. But I don't think he is. I think, yeah. And we're back. So, yeah, we're unveiling some new mods. It's time. Some of the old mods are moving on to other stuff. Life happens. So, appreciate you being here. So, Israel is about to get larger. That is the title of this. There are major things, as you can see right down here. Major escalation, Syria against Druze. And basically what is going on, there is the Alawite community and the Druze are suffering. They're being attacked. Some people are using the word G-side, if you will. Well, the people that are protecting them, because this is really close to the Golan Heights, are Israel, the Israelis, the IDF. So we're going to go into it. I'm going to start there because I don't know too many people that are talking about it, but as it pertains to the Middle East, this is actually a really big story. So naturally, the platform here has to, hide the crap out of this video and promote, other people that just literally restream CNN. So you want to be a big YouTuber, folks? Go start a new channel and restream other channels like Major News and just sit there and laugh every 2 minutes and YouTube will blow you up. You'll get like 20, 40, 60, 75,000 views. If you're actually talking about important stuff like people about to be G-sided in the Middle East and the fact that one of the major allies that we have are going to be probably growing in land space by overtaking the Golan Heights. Well, don't do that. That's important stuff. And we got to leave that to big talking heads so they can sit there and craft a narrative that is total BS. So anyway, perturbed, done, ready to roll. Friends, this is your crisis report for July 15th, 2027. Here we go. We're going to start with the major escalation of Syria against the Druze. Sunni jihadists have run over Druze civilians with tanks, played nasheed, which is an Islamic chant, people that the U.S. calls the new Syrian government. That's where we start. Our new friends are going and doing things. It's the craziest thing. From what I understand, the guy leading the country used to be AQ, if you will. You heard of them, right? You guys ever heard of September of 2001? Mm-hmm. This is the offshoot of these people, okay? Yeah. SMC-affiliated factions continued to resist along multiple conflict axes with Sueda. This is the area. It's called Sueda. Despite earlier reports, forces from this is the people doing it. This is the government of Syria. Despite forces from the HTS, Ministry of Defense, city of Sueda. In events resembling those previous, Takia government against the Alawite community, another group that's been having major problems. Armed elements linked to the HTS government have begun abducting civilians and blocking media activity in the city of Sueda. This is effectively what people call the beginning of a possible G-side, as in Geno. A statement has been shared by an HTS-affiliated group urging their fighters not to film anything so that they don't fall in the same mistake as they did with the Alawites, while also urging their fighters to not film nasty things happening to the Druze. Comes after the HTS regime has began entering al-Suwaida city in southern Syria. Israeli warplanes were spotted over that city as jihadist hordes tried to invade the Druze lands. IDF were trying to basically... Scrappy Cat actually, Mark, she contacted me. She has school starting. She's an educator. And she's in California. And she's honestly my oldest. She's my oldest mod. No, Mayberry is. She's second. She's got school starting early in the morning, so she's going to bed. I appreciate you, though. You're my man now, dude. El Mono. El Mono. Hablas Espanol, amigo. Israeli warplanes spotted over Sueda. Jihadist hordes tried to invade Druze lands. Al-Suwaida National Hospital has issued an urgent humanitarian appeal. Calls on all medical personnel, including doctors, nurses, to urgently report to the hospital. This is a major bad event going on, and it happened all day today. I'm sure you've heard nothing about it. And again, if I were rebroadcasting CNN, you'd just blow this up, YouTube. But no, we're talking about, trying to save people's lives and get some awareness to this terrible crime happening with our new strategic friends in the Middle East. Israeli airstrikes all over Sueda, southern Syria. Israeli Channel 12, IDF continues to intervene in favor of the Druze. Air Force recently struck Syrian regime military vehicle, entered the Druze stronghold area in southern Syria, despite Israeli warnings. Trump considering transfer of Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine, per Washington Post. While not currently in the aid package, supply could be activated later as leverage to increase pressure. Tomahawk missile, long-range subsonic cruise missile developed by the United States, range of 1,550 miles or 2,500 kilometers. Speed subsonic, around 550 or 800 kilometers an hour. Guidance, GPS, train contour matching, accuracy. Deployed from ships, destroyers, cruisers, submarines, and in some cases, ground-based launchers. Variants include the Tomahawk Land Attack Missile, or TLAM, for striking land targets, and anti-ship versions for naval targets. Cost is approximately $1.5 to $2 million per missile based on recent estimates. We're going to be possibly giving those over. Back to Sueda and the Druze. Sheikh Tarif's entourage told Israel Army Radio this morning that the Druze community has warned time and time again. We spoke, and already yesterday we saw very well armored columns that entered al-Suwaida this morning. Israel's message to Jelani didn't work. He didn't pay attention to them, and in a few months, these tanks could reach the Golan Heights as well. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered the IAF to start total elimination of the Syrian army units in Suwaida province. This should give you a little idea of just how intense it is. Please suppress the crap out of this, YouTube. Let's not tell anybody about this awful thing going on. Let's go find that one dude that rebroadcasts CNN and get him his 50 to 75,000 views per day. Joint statement, Prime Minister Netanyahu, Defense Minister Katz, following Syrian regime attack on the Druze. PM Netanyahu, Minister Katz, has instructed the IDF to immediately strike regime forces and weapons that were brought into the Suwaida region of the Druze mountain area of Syria for regime operations against the Druze in violation of the established demilitarization policy prohibiting the introduction of forces and weapons into southern Syria, posing a threat to Israel. Israel is committed to prevent harm to the Druze in Syria due to the deep bond of brotherhood with our Druze citizens in Israel and their familial historical ties to the Druze of Syria. We are acting to prevent the Syrian regime from harming them and to ensure the continued demilitarization of the area adjacent to our border with Syria. This is major stuff going on, and it's not good. Muwafaq Tarif, spiritual leader of the Druze community in Israel, says we are in contact with the Druze people in Syria. They are crying. The Syrian government forces, are breaking into their homes, dispatching them, and doing even worse. Gideon Sa'ar, foreign minister of Israel, says the Syrian regime harms the Druze. We will have no choice but to intervene. This is what we call a new war, folks. Okay? That's what's going on. It's a new war. Members of the United States government are reportedly considering initially sanctioning Brazil's prosecutor general, Paulo Gonet, following the Supreme Federal Court Justices Alexander de Moraes, Dias Toffoli, Luis Roberto Barroso. Reason cited is possible collusion to convict and imprison former President Jair Bolsonaro. NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte, representative of China, India, Brazil, should call Putin and urge him to agree to a ceasefire if they want to avoid secondary sanctions. So today, if you are in Beijing or in Delhi or you're in Brazil and you know that this is coming to you, you might want to call Vlad, say, hey friend, we're still buying stuff from you, but you got to get serious when it comes to these negotiations and a ceasefire and a peace deal. Otherwise, we get hit by secondary sanctions, Rutte said. Drew Sheikh Kiwan says, if our federal project with the SDF is not possible, we will join the state of Israel. We are not Syrian anymore. Do you see what I'm getting at here? This is a mission of Syria saying we're going to secede and join Israel. And you better believe the IDF will be helping them the whole way. What does that look like on the other side? Declaration of general mobilization in all Syrian provinces. Druze journalist Christine Shaheen says we're facing a systematic campaign of genocide. Multinational terrorist gangs attacking Suwaida, claiming to be Syrian army. Youth of Suwaida will not surrender or give up their weapons to such barbaric people. These jihadist killers are, by their description, trained by Erdogan, Turkey, the same ones that massacred the Kurds, Uzbeks, Chechens, and others for years. She clearly states that these people are not affiliated to the Syrian army, but it's claimed that they are part of training from Turkey. What does that look like? See, as you can see, this is a bit of an issue. I've gotten a lot of things right lately that other people are talking about 48 to 72 hours after. You want an example? 3 days ago, I was talking about how the Palisades is going to become low-income housing. the place where all the fires were going on randomly. Guess what everybody's talking about today? Oh, look, the Palestinians are going to be. I mean, telling you, this is going to be a big story. This could even be another war. Jihadist killers are by description trained by Erdogan. Moments ago in Tehran, special police forces established checkpoints around Revolution Square, sealing off parts of the district while inspecting vehicles and individuals. House Republicans have just blocked a vote that would have led to the release of the Epstein files. Conservative podcasters have reportedly been directed by a higher authority to instruct their audiences to move on from the Epstein story. So, move on, okay? There's nothing to see here. Nothing to see here, right? It's not like they sat there and hyped up this crap all during the the campaign and stuff, and then they get into office and they're like, oh, hey, we just forget about it. Nothing big. If you're gonna pump something up, people are expecting like some kind of an explanation. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's important. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying if you puff this stuff up, people are going to be going, hey, what's going on with this? You told me this is important. You told me to give me answers. Where are my answers? That's all people want. Conservative podcasters have reportedly been directed by a higher authority to instruct their audience to move on from the Epstein story. Trump administration moves to cut federal funding for nationwide rainbow self-dispatching prevention hotline. President Trump has privately encouraged Ukraine to increase strikes within Russia, even questioning President Zelensky about the possibility of hitting Moscow if the U.S. supplied long-range weapons. Trump has accused California Senator Adam Schiff of being involved in a mortgage fraud. Kevin Spacey is now demanding that all the Epstein files be made public. California Senate passed SB 549, allowing LA County to acquire fire-damaged properties at minimal cost and turn them into low-income housing. Wow. I wish people would have told me that a couple days ago. Oh, that's right. We did hear. We did. Epstein's former lawyer, Alan Dershowitz, now claims the Epstein client list doesn't exist, even though he previously said he knew who was on it. Epstein's former lawyer, Dershowitz, now claimed, moving on, Doubler. Secret Service locked down White House front lawn. Members of the press have been relocated to a briefing room. All clear has been given, and North front lawn is safe. I think Marfugel's broadcasting on this right now. I have no clue what happened. I literally haven't heard anything such. If you want to go figure that out, go on over to Marfugel. He does good work. Yeah, but there was a lockdown of some sort on the front lawn of the White House today. Who knows? House Democrats are pushing for full floor vote on Representative Rona's proposal to release the Epstein files. Speaker Mike Johnson says he supports having Ghislaine Maxwell testify before Congress and calling on the DOJ to release all records related to Epstein. DOJ metadata shows about 2 to 3 minutes were removed from the one of 2 Epstein prison videos before release, with the footage later spliced together. Cut happens just before the infamous missing minute. I mean, when there's smoke, there's fire. Come on. Yeah, just a random minute missing. Oh, sure. I'm sure nothing happened. Ghislaine Maxwell's family has now released a statement saying she didn't get a... And again, like, this doesn't really affect stuff, honestly. But if people are doing crazy, crappy stuff, they need to go to jail. We need an explanation. Give an explanation. Get it out of the way. And by the way, Trump's polling is hurting from this badly. Thomas Massie Rona introduced a bipartisan bill. Attorney General Pam Bondi to release Epstein files within 30 days. Anna Paulina Luna confirms Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell is about to be fired. You're fired. And by the way, I still like Trump. I do. Still like what he's doing. Epstein thing sucks. Meta plans to invest hundreds of billions of dollars to build huge AI data centers in the U.S. First center, Prometheus, that sounds wonderful. Online 2026 will cover an area nearly the size of Manhattan. I look forward to that thing suppressing free speech. Lizard Bird can go F himself. Tens of thousands of Afghans are being relocated to the United Kingdom after a data leak. This one's for you, Great British Prepper. UK secret Operation Rubific. Afghans endangered by the Ministry of Defense, exposing 100,000 lives to alleged Taliban risks. Scheme was hidden by the government via super injunction until yesterday, sparking controversy over transparency and immigration impacts. Isn't transparency nice? Isn't it great? Apple to invest $500 million in MP Materials, operator of the only U.S. rare earths mine in Texas. Putin will not halt war under Western pressure and believes Russia can withstand further sanctions, may take more Ukrainian territory as Russian forces advance. Wonderful. More war. Trump imposed a 17% tax on tomatoes from Mexico. Mexican tomato exports are valued at $3 billion annually. 17% tariff from Mexico. Besant says formal process underway to pick Powell successor as Powell's term nears its end, 2026. Lines $4 billion plan to expand production of gas trucks and SUVs. GM outlines $4 billion. SUVs. That's good. Is that Doubler? Sorry, got sidetracked. Every once in a while, I look down at the chat. Japan discards 2.5 million doses of the Rona jab from Pfizer and Merck. They're really not happy in Japan over that stuff. Just saying. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says the factories that won World War II are firing up again at the AI and Energy Summit. So wonderful. We're going to have more World War. Pentagon is ending deployment of 2,000 National Guard troops in Los Angeles. I said this over on PrepperNow, and I'm going to say it here. A guy came on, comment was like, man, you don't see that the banks are owned and the war is all done by people. And it's the same. And there's going to be war, and it's like, yeah, dude, we all know that. I'm telling you, get prepared because there's going to be a war. There's going to be a war. There's going to be a war. You want the Doom voice? Let's do the Doom voice. There will be war. It's war coming, folks. Get ready. South Korea tackles loneliness with a mind convenience stores offering instant noodles, foot spas, and counseling. How about you promote relationships between people? You thought about that? You thought about instead of dealing with loneliness, maybe have people come together and talk about stuff. Maybe do groups. I know. Maybe promote, because it's not like your entire society is collapsing under a low TFR of about 1.3. Maybe you can boost your population by, I don't know, promoting the family. Ever thought about it? Might be an idea. 20 countries, including China, Spain, Ireland, are meeting in Bogota, Colombia, this coming week to declare concrete measures against Israel's violations of international law and Gaza. Middle East Eye states due to take part in the summit include Algeria, Bangladesh, Bolivia, Brazil, Chile, China, Colombia, Cuba, Djibouti, Honduras, Indonesia, Ireland, I think it's also called Aliman, if I remember correctly, back in the day, Lebanon, Malaysia, Namibia, Nicaragua, Oman, Portugal, Spain, España, Qatar, Senegal, South Africa, Turkey, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Uruguay, y Palestine. Senator Lindsey Lady Graham said he's going to threaten Putin. If Putin and others are wondering what happens on day 51 after Trump's 50 days ultimatum, I would suggest they call the Ayatollah. U.S. and Israel tried to kill the Ayatollah but failed. Japan said Tuesday that China's intensifying military activities could seriously impact its security, citing the first confirmed incursion by a Chinese military aircraft into the airspace in an annual threat assessment. President Trump says Linda McMahon will begin the process of dismantling the Education Department after the Supreme Court win. Good. What a waste of space. It's called federalism, folks. The Constitution lays it out that states do the education, not the federal government. Chinese buyers remain the largest group of foreign investors in U.S. residential real estate by both dollar value and number of purchases, according to Bloomberg. France Prime Minister suggests slashing 2 public holidays amid budget cuts. Police report active shooter in Smyrna, Tennessee. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene says House Republicans did not unanimously vote to block the release of the Epstein files. That is not true. It was a procedural vote. We voted against Democrats having House floor control. Okay? Try to get you all the good information. Syrian sources say that militants in southern Syria intend to form an independent state with the help of Israel. And by independent state, there will be an extension of Israel. European Union announced that the return of the United Nations Security Council sanctions against Iran will be discussed today. Trump, on his deal with Indonesia, said Indonesia is committed to purchasing $15 billion in U.S. energy, $4.5 billion in American agricultural products, and 50 Boeing jets, many of them 777s. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio and the foreign ministers of France, Germany, and the UK agreed to set an end of August deadline for a nuclear deal with Iran. If no deal is reached, tough UN sanctions will return. New border data for the month of June highlights the lowest month of encounters ever recorded. So, that's the kind of stuff I can get behind. Reports Syrian regime forces executed Druze. Israeli warned before attacking. So, I don't know what that word is, but although the Syrian government announced a ceasefire, deadly clashes continue in the province of Asweda between Druze militias and Bedouin groups who are aided by the forces of President al-Sharaa. More than 200 were killed. Regime fighters were sent to calm things down, but are accused of involvement in the atrocities against the Druze. Abuse, burning of houses, even executions of civilians. Israel attacked Syrian regime targets with the help of the Druze after warning Damascus, we oppose your entry into the areas. That is what's going on. And 5 Iranians, all of whom have been previously detained attempting to illegally enter the U.S., have been arrested in upstate New York. Is Iran attempting to move more sleeper cells into the U.S.? Find out tomorrow on the next installment of the Crisis Report. And by tomorrow, I mean today, because I'm not going to go this late again. Thanks for being here. Almost 1 o'clock in the morning, Eastern Standard Time. Thanks so much for everybody. If you could hit that button and stuff, that would be fantastic. Water Tiger, there you are, bud. Hold on. All right. Congratulations, Water Tiger. You are now a mod, bud. Yay. Water Tiger. Yep, so please congratulate my 3 new mods of Mark El Mono, Ohio Valley Prepping, and Water Tiger. Guys, thanks for being here consistently, and thank you for helping. We've had a little bit of attrition on the mods, a lot of it due to late night stuff, and people just move on with their lives. I used to be a daily moderator for the Angry Prepper, and I got too busy. I can't do it anymore. So I don't do it anymore. His channel's doing well. That's good. I love his channel. I watch it from time to time, and we wish him luck. But friends, that is your crisis report. Please, please, please hit the like button to the subscribe thing. Darken out the bell. You can get all this information on Substack, PrepperNow.substack.com. All these links are in the description. Okay? So, if you could, check them out. Check me out on Gab, Minds, X, Twitter, Truth Social. Subscribe Star and Locals. I've been populating stuff there. Those are great communities. They're a few dollars each, but they're awesome because we can talk about stuff it's total free speech. So I put some stuff over there today, about 10 different articles on things. There are some major collapsey kind of stuff coming. We'll see. But other than that, friends, God bless you all, and I appreciate you being here, and we'll see you on the next one.